I run a company called Think Lab, which is a PR agency that specialises in science and environmental communications. But I think, yes, there's more information there. I'm also a dialogue and engagement specialist for the ScienceWise Expert Resource Centre, and I'm going to talk about some of the work that I've been doing as part of that this afternoon. The Expert Resource Centre has, I don't know if you know, it's specifically been set up to try and encourage government and civil servants to involve the public more in decision making and to help them have the sort of toolkit to be able to do that and to implement good practice. And when the centre was being set up, so my company has done quite a lot of work over the past few years helping big public dialogue activities to engage with the media, so to try and get the media to either help the public get involved with the process, or to just, you know, promote that this dialogue is taking place and that you can get involved here and that kind of thing. One of the problems that we are finding that is perhaps different to the ones you've mentioned, Fiona, but I think that it's part of a broader issue, is that we found that we could get media coverage if we, you know, some of the subjects were exciting enough that we could get news media coverage, but what was happening is that the coverage would say, there's been a breakthrough in brain science, no mention of the dialogue, or there's a breakthrough in brain science and the government is holding a big consultation on it, but no way of anyone getting involved. And we were, I mean, it reached the point where I had used every skill I have as a PR professional to try and get the media to engage with this process. And I had reached a conclusion, and I kind of, with some distance, have a slightly more mature reflection on it now. But at the time when I was immersed in it, I was convinced that there was a conspiracy and that the media is middle class and does not believe that the public should have a voice and should have any power in decision making. My view now is slightly, as I say, more mature, but not far off that. And I think, so there was an issue for us about how, if we're moving towards a participative democracy, and I think that there are sounds within government that we're not exactly going to have a participative democracy, but more participatory, particularly after the expensive stuff of the summer, and the media sees their role as being, the traditional media, I mean, as being the, you know, that there has to be a separation between state and the media and that they're not there to do the government's bidding, which is what journalists have said to me very specifically, then I think there's a big problem for the traditional media. What is their role in that? And I think that that's a debate that needs to be had, but that is not a debate for me and not for today. What it left me with was a very practical question that if we are going to have these big public participation exercises and the mainstream media are not interested in helping people take part, then are there other ways, other media out there that we can use to get people engaged and to get our messages out? So that's where the work that I'm going to talk about today came from. And it's very much about having a look at digital PR. So I don't mean marketing, viral techniques, ads, that kind of thing. This is very much coming from, I'm a traditional PR media person, and how we can use the digital, you know, Web 2.0 and so on to try and achieve what we used to achieve. So what I'm going to do is tell you a bit about what we found and take you on kind of the journey that I've been on. I'm aware I mean, just to say where I am on the kind of adoption curve, I'm an enthusiastic digital media user. I'm hooked on Facebook and Twitter and that kind of thing, but I'm not like the earliest adopter, okay? So I think, and I'm aware of my age as well, so I think there's probably people in the room who are further ahead of that curve than I am. I think there's people in the room who might be behind me on it. So I hope that what I've got to say is going to be interesting and enlightening to some people. If it's old news to other people, then what would be really brilliant is if you can use it as a sense check. Well, I'd like to use it as a sense check and tell me if I've got it right, if I've got it wrong, if we've missed anything, because this is quite important, the guidelines that we're producing. So just in case anybody is not convinced, you know, we are in the middle of digital revolution. Newspaper readership is just falling through the floor. Television viewing is dropping, particularly amongst the younger age groups. And people from minority ethnic groups are the least likely to read traditional newspapers and magazines. But and I was quite shocked at this, digital TV is now as common as a fixed phone line, and potentially is going to become increasingly more common than a fixed phone line. 67% of adults go online each month. The time spent online has doubled in the last 5 years, and ethnic minority groups are actually in the middle, are at the leading edge of all of this. So to try and get more of a sense then of how we could use this, I spent a year actually talking to digital media experts within government, outside government, reading books by digital media gurus, talking to bloggers, you know, just trying to immerse myself in their world. And I came to it as, you know, I don't know what people's background is in the room completely, but I hope that people have had some experience where, you know, as a PR person, we're taught that the way to do our job is that you find the journalists who are going to reach the audience you want. So I came to this thinking that what we needed to do was to find the bloggers who would reach the people we want, and that then once I had this lovely list of bloggers, then I would just send them press releases from then on. What I learned was that the situation is actually very, very different to that. And there's 3 kind of key lessons that I came out with.